Rocco's with me today to introduce sit in motion using the marching in place technique. A sit in motion is where you ask your dog to sit while you keep moving. Most people run into problems with this because when we go to introduce it, we'll just come to a complete stop and we end up making it a sit at our side instead of a sit in motion. So with this marching in place, it's designed to show our dog a little bit of movement. We're still moving while you're sitting. So what we're going to do is we're going to get them on their sit while we march in place. And this is from a heel, so we'll heel forward. We'll ask them to sit while we march in place. We're going to pivot in front and then pivot right back to their side. The reason we want to pivot in front of them is to show them that we will continue moving out. The reason we're going to go right back to their side and release is because we don't want to turn our in motion into a sit-stay. I'm going to try to show this from a couple of different angles. Remember sequence, remember progression. So because sit in motion is a new behavior, we are going to give help. So that sequence is going to be command, I'll give the help, which for this behavior is going to be marching in place, and then I'm going to mark it and release, and then I'm going to use a treat for his reinforcement. Progression, what we want to think about is phasing out this marching in place over time and then transitioning and just pivoting in front. But we're going to start at the beginning with the march in place. Free Rudco. Good boy. Good. Heel. Sit. Good. Good boy. Free. All right, we're going to try a different angle this time. Sit. Good. Good. Free. Good boy. Good job. And one more angle on this. Heel. Sit. Good. Good boy. Free. Good job, bud. Okay, think about what does your dog need to understand before you work on this behavior. They need to understand heel and they need to understand how to sit at your side. If your dog is still struggling and needs help just on their regular sit at your side, it's going to make your in motion that much harder. If your dog is still trying to pull off to the side or sniff the ground while you're heeling, you're not going to be focused on listening to your cue to sit. It's going to make it harder. So make sure your dog has an understanding of heeling as well as stopping and sitting at your side from that heel before you work your in motion. Remember your sequence is going to be command. The help for this one is marching in place, and then you'll mark it as soon as their butt hits the ground. And then you'll do your little bit of a movement forward, so that pivot in front, you're going to get right back to their side, you'll release, and then you'll treat or toy or whatever you're using for your reinforcement. So remember that sequence and remember the progression. As soon as your dog starts responding quickly, you want to phase out how long you're marching in place. So if their butt's on the ground, you don't want to still be standing there marching in place. You already want to be moving out in front of them. The next progression would be phase out that pivot and take another step or two forward before you go back to them. Don't turn this into a sit-stay, so don't pivot in front and stand there and look at them and think about how great they're doing. Get back to their side and reinforce the in-motion component of this behavior. Okay, follow through with your sequence. Always be thinking about your progression. Challenge yourself as the handler to get better with this technique and phase that help out as fast as you can. We'll do another video on how to use leash pressure to get the sit in motion. But for now, you can go ahead and get started on this one, and we'll see you guys next time.